Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 32nd verse of the 6th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Devadattam imam veenam swarabrahma vibhushitam. Swarabrahma vibhushitam murchayitva harikatham gayamanash-charamyaham. The meaning of this verse is, and thus I travel, constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called veena. Narad Muni carries what is called as a veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. So what is Narad Muni telling Vyasadeva in this verse? He constantly travels while engaged in singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord. While singing the glories of the Lord, he is vibrating an instrument called the veena. This veena was personally given to Narad Muni by Krishna himself, and its sound is completely transcendental. So Prabhupada explains in the purport, the musical stringed instrument called the veena, which was handed to Narada by Lord Sri Krishna, is described in the Linga Purana, and this is confirmed by Srila Jiva Goswami. As you are aware, Bhagavata Purana is one of the 18 Puranas compiled by Vyasadeva. So apart from Bhagavata Purana, there are the other Puranas which are also describing the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So in the Linga Purana, this description is given how the veena was handed to Narada by Lord Sri Krishna. It is just mentioned here, but some details are there in the Linga Purana, and it is quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, one of our previous acharyas, who has written a commentary on the Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada is quoting from that commentary of Srila Jiva Goswami. Further, Srila Prabhupada is telling, this transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Sri Krishna and Narada because all of them are of the same transcendental category. Distinctly, there are two categories of existence, spiritual existence and material existence. Now, spiritual existence is the existence of the Supreme Lord Krishna, his pure devotees, his spiritual world, his paraphernalia, his name, his form, his qualities, his activities, his devotees, everything is that spiritual existence. There is a material existence which is due to the desire of the living beings to enjoy materially independent of Krishna. This material existence is inferior and it is only in the material world which is a very, 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 very small portion of the entire cosmic manifestation. In this material world, there is material existence for whom? For those who are forgetful of Krishna, those who want to enjoy independent of Krishna, those who want to imitate Krishna, those who are envious of Krishna. In several ways it's described in different places. It's for the materialists. So it is described the veena which was handed over by Krishna to Narada and carried always by Narada, that is a transcendental instrument. Why is it a transcendental instrument? Because it is identical with Lord Sri Krishna and Narada being in the same spiritual category. Sound vibrated by this instrument which Narada Muni carries, this veena, cannot be material because the veena is itself transcendental. And therefore, the glories and pastimes which are broadcast by the instrument of Narada are also transcendental without a tinge of material inebriety. What is the meaning of this? Without a tinge of material inebriety. Material inebriety is a material defect in this material world. Whatever work we do ordinarily has got this material inebriety or material contamination or material defect, if I may use that word. It is a defect. So that material defect is, it is the cause of bondage. It is a cause of bondage. It results in reactions. Whereas spiritual activity, transcendental activity, devotional service is without material inebriety, without any material defect, without any material contamination. Just like when we chant Hare Krishna, that sound of the holy name of Krishna, the Hare Krishna mantra, is completely spiritual. It doesn't have any material inebriety. This is described as Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvat Nama Namino. Purna Shuddho. Same way, Narad Muni's veena is also completely transcendental, and the sound vibrated by that is also completely transcendental. So Prabhupada further explains, the 7 singing meters, Saptaswara, music, consists of fundamentally 7 notes. And the whole basis of music is the 7 notes, Saptaswara. Shadja, Rishabha, Gandhara, Madhyama, Panchama, Dhaivata, Nishada. Sa re ga ma pa da ni. Sa re ga ma pa da ni. That is what Prabhupada is explaining. These 7 singing meters are also transcendental, and therefore they are specifically meant for transcendental songs. Of course, people in this world use music even for material purposes. But it is not meant for anything material. Music is not meant for anything material. Because the 7 notes are completely transcendental. They are meant for glorification of the Supreme Lord, for transcendental purposes. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Narad Deva is always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument. Narad Muni, after having received the gift from Krishna, that veena, which is completely transcendental, he simply uses it for transcendental glorification of Krishna only. He does not use it for any other purposes. And thus, Narad Muni is always engaged in singing the transcendental glories of the Supreme Lord, and therefore he is infallible in his exalted position. Infallible means he never falls down. He is in exalted position. He is completely situated transcendentally. Perfect, pure. Following in the footsteps of Srila Narada Muni, a self-realized soul in the material world should also properly use the sound meters, namely sa, re, ga, ma, etc., in the service of the Lord by constantly singing the glories of the Lord as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. So anybody who is self-realized, if they want to remain on the spiritual platform, on the platform of spirit, spiritual platform, then Bhagavad Gita says it is possible to remain on the spiritual platform by constantly singing the glories of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains in the 9th chapter, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. How do devotees worship Krishna? They worship Krishna by satatam kirtayanto mam. They are always constantly singing the glories of the Lord. Satatam, always, without any break, without any interruption, 24 hours a day. And in that way, yatantascha dridhavrataha, they are engaged in such glorification of the Supreme Lord with determination. Dridhavrataha, very firm determination. It's not shakable. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya, they always bow down with all humility, with devotion. They bow down to the Lord, and in this way, nityayukta upasate, they are always engaged in worshipping the Lord. This is a description of someone who is called a Mahatma. Mahatma means a pure devotee, according to the Bhagavad Gita. That is also described by a verse in the Gita. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashhritaha bhajanti ananya manaso kyatva bhutadim abhyayam. The person who is called Mahatma in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 9th chapter, is a person who has taken shelter of the internal potency of the Lord, the spiritual potency. The Lord has got 3 potencies, of which we constitute one of the potencies, the marginal potency. The marginal potency consists of the living beings, and they can take shelter either of the internal potency or external potency. So those in the material world are placed in the clutches of Maya, the external potency, and therefore they are always under the influence of the 3 gunas. Whereas those who are pure devotees, they are always under the protection of the spiritual potency, internal potency, the transcendental potency of the Lord. And therefore they are always engaged in devotional service to Krishna, pure devotional service to Krishna, without any stoppage. And Narad Muni, being a pure devotee, he is also engaged specifically in preaching through constantly glorifying the Lord by singing His glories using his instrument called the veena. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.